Hi guys, I'm Karshina of Honeysuckle Apothecary and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now I just recorded this whole thing and it did not record, so please forgive me if I gotta get over that for a second. Oh, okay. Alright, so today we're talking about the real meaning of Christmas and who is really the reason for the season, right? As we know, Christians like to say, well, Christians love to say, Jesus is the reason for the season, but that's not really true, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay? Now, Christmas was originally called Saturalis after some European god, or winter solstice. Okay? And it was also called the death of the sun in some cultures and some peoples, and it was also called the birth of the sun in some cultures. Okay? First thing you have to understand that these are all different winter solstice celebrations. Alright? And these are European more so winter solstice celebrations, because this is when they celebrated, how they celebrated. The way we're talking about today, this is how they celebrated winter solstice. So Christmas was more so a festival for all the people. It wasn't a religious festival at all. It was a festival of the death of the sun or the birth of the sun, or a god or goddess of that culture, like Saturalis. Okay? And winter solstice is also the longest night and the shortest day. Okay? So during this time, it's the longest night and the shortest day. And if you think about that, in that fact, that means if you think about what we do at that time, if it's the longest night, then we do more night stuff like partying, having fun, drinking. You know, this is when we release our inhibitions, when we relax, when we get comfortable, when we receive pleasure. This is the festival of the death of the sun, or the birth of the sun, and it was a winter solstice celebration. Okay, so what did they do during this celebration? What was one of the most noteworthy things that they did during this time is the roles reversed. The rich became the poor and the poor became the rich. So it was commonly known for the poor to, go in rich people's houses and demand gifts or money, and if they did not give it to them, it was some type of punishment. Okay, so children were celebrated as meaning growth and abundance and fertility and things like that. Alright, so when did Christ come? Now, what you have to understand about this winter solstice celebration is this took place way before Jesus was mentioned or thought about. This went back to ancient times. Okay? And this was the time where people all over the world, especially African peoples, they honored and celebrated the cosmos, the universe, okay? The sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, okay? And all of this was sacred to them. And we can talk about more why in the next video. If you guys stay tuned, I'll do, because that's included in my path, okay? But yeah, so they didn't want to celebrate Christians. Once Christian and Jesus came along, they did not want to celebrate this, because if you think about this festival of partying, basically, and chaos, they didn't want to celebrate this. So especially the new Americans, the new pilgrims, when they came over, slavery, we're in slavery time now, right before or either the beginning of slavery time right here. When the new Americans came over, the new pilgrims, they wanted to start out fresh. They didn't want to commit the sins of the old world. So, excuse me, one of the things they did was they banned Christmas. Nobody was allowed to celebrate Christmas. They thought it was, heathenistic and unholy, and they didn't want to have anything to do with it. So that's what they did. But people being people, they still went and celebrated Christmas. People who used to celebrate and they've been celebrating in Europe or whatever forever, they continue to celebrate it in small pockets all over. The church was like, oh, people are still celebrating this. What in the world can we do to fix this shit? So they decided, instead of trying to get people to not celebrate the holiday or the solstice, they would incorporate Jesus into the solstice and stop calling it solstice altogether. That's when it became Christ Mass. Masses serving Christ or honoring Christ, Christmas or Christmas, and they put Jesus. This is the time. This is after AD. This is, so that whole time before, even all the way to ancient times, whatever that time period is, all the way to beginnings of slavery, pre-slavery times. It was a pagan holiday, pagan tradition, and they didn't want to, and they were celebrating the solstice, the longest night and the shortest day. Okay, but now it's Christmas. So, because people won't start celebrating this festival, we're going to turn it into a Christian Christmas holiday. How did they do this? The symbols of Christmas. Now, one day there was a mama pushing a baby in a stroller. You know, them ancient 1950s, 40s, 2000s, I don't know, things. So and then she pushed it beside a storefront, and she saw a black and white TV with a picture of the president on it with a Christmas tree. And his kids and family surrounded him, looking all nice and lovely. But okay, so next thing you know, this is the time where the president is the ishnit, and everybody want to have what he have. So next thing you know, everybody got Christmas trees in their house, and what they had on the Christmas trees was apples, and what they had under the Christmas tree was gifts. And there was a big story time at night where they told the night before Christmas about Santa Claus coming through the chimney and all that. So where did that all come from? These are the symbols and the ways that the church incorporated Jesus into the solstice and turned it into a Christian holiday. First one would be the tree. So the Christmas tree comes in the house, with everybody seeing the Christmas tree, and the president had one. And what they would put on this Christmas tree were apples. And we all know that apples turned into later ornaments, and that's what we can tell now that that's what they were using. So apples came for ornaments. What they represent? The tree represented life everlasting, heaven, and so that's what that came. So everybody wanted this green, and all this darkness of the solstice that's happening right now. It's always dark. Let's bring some light into our house, into our home. Let's bring this bright green Christmas tree that never dies. Let's honor and celebrate it. Okay? So that's where that came from, in the apples. And the next thing they brought in was charity. Jesus and the 12 disciples, he performed miracles for the people and rose the dead and that type of thing. So I guess in a way we're kind of like helping people. Yeah, helping people. Okay? So that's what Christmas came to represent. Giving back. The rich feeding the poor. Oftentimes the rich would only have to write a huge check to some type of organization, just like today. And that would be their charitable event. They would be known as Giving Fair Charitable Rich People for the rest of the year. Okay? Just like if we go back to the original solstice celebrations, charity was celebrated. Yeah. Okay? Where the roles were reversed. Rich to poor, poor to rich. So the next one that Christmas incorporated would be the children. Okay, they kept these terms and they made them Christian, some of them, and brought in stuff like the tree. But yeah, so the children, we already know from the Festival of the Dying Sun, the children represent growth, abundance, and fertility. And it's a time, the children were always honored and celebrated on this day for the blessings that they bring into their parents' lives. Okay, all that. So we bring that back once again. We don't need to do nothing with that. Keep that how it is. Let them celebrate and honor their children, but this time let's celebrate and honor our children by giving them gifts. Okay? And so that's what they did. Yeah. So it became known as this gift-giving time. Give your children gifts, let them be happy, and all that stuff, because they brought all these blessings into your life of growth, abundance, fertility. Love, a new type of love, all those things, great things. Okay, so that's what they did, and they kept that the same. Which would be the last thing they brought into the story that we told of towards the night before Christmas and all that, would be Santa. Now, a priest heard a story from a Dutch man, I think, some other European white country, and brought him, and he told him the story of this this thing that went down your chimney and left stuff in your house, basically. And the priest was so enamored by the story that he created Santa Claus, and he modeled him, actually did, after Saint Nick, who was a person who gave back to the poor, a lot of children he would give gifts to in the times of need. And so he modeled him after him. Now when Santa Claus first came out, each country would have their own version of him. He would look how they imagined him, so he didn't look like today until some man, I think it was a newspaper columnist, decided, okay, let me turn this into what we feel like Santa should look like. And that's when you get the Santa of today, with the fat belly, the red suit, the red hat, jovial, red cheeks, all that. Santa Claus, that's where that came from. And what Santa Claus did, which is really, really important to understand, what Santa did was he brought in consumerism, which we know has consumed, consumerism has consumed everybody nowadays. But he brought in that. How did he bring in that in Christmas? He turned spending money into giving back, okay? Or gifts. So it wasn't spending money. It wasn't bad. It wasn't even thought about the fact that you were spending money on these things, because you were giving them back to your children. You were celebrating your children with gifts under the tree, and you were showing empathy for the homeless and the needy by giving back to the charitable organizations. Okay, so that's where that came from. And now we've taken this festival of the winter solstice, which by itself I love the winter solstice. I love the snow, I love the ice, I love the crisp air, I love the longest night and the shortest day, I love the miraculousness of the universe, you know, and the fact that we're a part of the universe, you know, and the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, us, you know, everything. So I love the dark energy, the darkness that surrounds the stars, all that. So it turned this festival of the winter solstice into what we know today as a Christian. Jesus is the reason for the season, Christmas. Okay? Oh, my light went out. Shoot. My light went out. Anyways, sorry guys, my light went out. My battery died on my computer. But basically, what I wanted to just let you guys know how it really was, and know that Jesus is not the reason for the season. The true reason for the season of Christmas would be the winter solstice and the majesty of the universe. Thanks for watching, guys. Take two. Bye. Peace.